Today, let's talk about burnout. Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about burnout, and in this video it is going to be more of a podcasty style video, so you don't have to watch me on screen, have me in the background, do some work, do some illustration, whatever you want. Don't look at this. I don't even know what this is. For those of you who are new here, hello, I'm Catherine. Excuse me, there's a car going by with a really loud exhaust. Excuse the noises. I only have single glazing in my office, and do you recognise this office? It's my old studio. Please excuse the way I look. It's currently Sunday and I've scraped my hair right up and totally forgot that I was filming a YouTube video, so I'm so sorry about that. So if you have seen my last studio vlogs and follow me on social media and stuff, you will have seen that I was on the road to burnout this week. I was very, very close to it. Luckily, I have now figured out ways of getting myself out of burnout, and I thought I would share it with you guys, because on my last studio vlog I said, would you like me to share my experiences, and you guys said yes, I would like to know. So here I am, sat in front of the camera talking to you guys with horrendous hair and roots. No judgment here, alright? This video is going to be cut into 3 parts. The first part of the video I'm going to be explaining how I struggled with burnout and how I had a really, really bad burnout back in 2017, I think it was, and kind of go through my experience. In the second part of the video, I'm going to be talking about how I got myself out of burnout, the things I did, and now how I rejuvenate myself when I feel like I am getting burnt out, and my tips and things like that. And the third part of the video, I asked you guys on social media if you've ever suffered from burnout, what you personally do to overcome it. So I'm going to share some stories from the Katnipp friends and family. If you have been suffering from burnout for a very, very long period of time, and this may be something more serious such as depression, please, please, please go and seek some medical help. There is absolutely no shame in seeking help, and it's very, very important that your mental well-being is priority as well as your physical well-being, because without good mental well-being, your quality of life goes. Go seek a medical professional. I'm not a medical professional. This is just my little tricks on how I personally overcame burnout. So first of all, let's get into story time. So back in 2017, it is now February 2019 when I'm recording this, I was still working part-time at my other job, who is now a freelance client of mine. And so I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at that job, and I kind of did admin work, I did social media marketing, and I did the graphic design at that job. And I also did the little tasks around the office, like I would answer the phones and things, so a receptionist as well. It was a very small firm and I basically just helped out. And I had worked for them previously full-time as I set up Katnipp, and I worked full-time with them for a full year as I began Katnipp, and I did Katnipp in my extra time, but I just did whatever I could because I was really passionate about making it work. And then on a weekend I would also do Katnipp. My weekends were dedicated to growing my business. In the second year, however, it came to Christmas time. Christmas time is when my burnout really, really happens, and you'll see why in a little bit. So Christmas came and I was still working full-time. This is back in 2016, sorry. I was still working full-time and my store picked up a little bit. Not enough to be full-time, but it picked up. I was getting steady orders in once a week. It wasn't loads, I'm talking like maybe 5, 6, 7 orders, if that sometimes. But I used to do commission work, so I used to do portrait commissions of families and friends, and obviously with the Christmas period a lot of people wanted to get it for friends and family, so a lot of people who were buying off me were friends and family, and I was primarily selling through Facebook and sending them PayPal invoices and things like that. And this really got to me because not only did I have a full-time job, I was also coming back and trying to do these commissions. And any artist who knows, who have done portrait commissions, you go back and forth with the customer, you send them a sketch, they get back to you, then you send them a proof. If they like it, then you might have to make tweaks and stuff. So it's very, very time consuming, obviously with a full-time job as well. And 6, 7 orders of doing this. Sometimes the families had like 7 characters in them. It was very, very hard. So I spoke and sat down with my fiance Dean and said to him, listen, I'm really struggling. I really am passionate about Katnipp and I want to take it places. I was very, very ambitious. Do you think I should approach my boss to go down to part-time hours? And he fully supported me and said, yes, go for it. We'll manage on your part-time wage and mine, because we have a mortgage, so we do have bills to pay. I don't live at home with my parents. I live with Dean. We have mortgage, obviously bills, food and everything like that, and the stress was really getting to me. And he's seen me up working till like 3-4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and it caused some arguments because obviously I was hardly spending any time with Dean. We discussed it and I dropped down to part-time hours. My boss Mark was absolutely fantastic and always has been from the get-go, and I am very, very fortunate and lucky to have a boss who is that understanding. As an entrepreneur himself, I think he realised the value, and I've always had a really, really strong work ethic, and I think he could see that, and he accepted the agreement of me going down part-time. So now we're on to 2017, which is when the big burnout happened. So that was like a little mini burnout when I seemed to be juggling a lot of stuff. But then back in 2017, I worked part-time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would work on Katnipp. At this point, the orders were picking up, and I then added more products. So then I started adding things like mugs, art prints, bookmarks, stickers and things like that in 2017. And then my store slowly picked up. I still wouldn't say it was enough to quit full time until it came to Christmas. Now, at Christmas also accepted a second job from a client who was another window company firm who, through word of mouth, had seen my work through Martin Windows, who I was working with part-time, and seeing what I was doing for their social media accounts. They contacted me and said, would you be interested in marketing for us too? And they were at a different post, like a totally different area, and didn't step on Martin Windows' toes. So I said yes, because I thought this extra money I could then invest in a Katnipp to help it grow bigger. This was probably a big mistake, because it was one of the factors that made me severely burn out. So I was working part-time, I took on a second client, and I also was running Katnipp on the as well on the weekends and in my free time. So that is a lot to take on for one person, but I thought I could manage it because I enjoyed my work, enjoyed what I did. And then as Christmas came, the orders kind of flooded in beginning November, I would say. In October, the Christmas orders started, and I had a nice routine. I would do my client work first, then I would focus on Katnipp. But then what I found was happening, some Katnipp things were suffering because I wasn't able to spend a lot of time sitting and illustrating the commissions that I was getting. And then I was like, right, I need to prioritize my commissions first so that they're done, and then do my client work, because I have to get the client work done. Basically forcing myself to work horrendous hours, and I mean horrendous hours. But I kept going. I was very positive through it all. I was like, this is going to work, this will pay off in the end. Hard work always pays off. I was doing a lot of hours, guys, and I mean, like, I was getting up at 7 AM to make sure I could get my work done. I would go to Martin Windows, work physically at Martin Windows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, come back from Martin Windows, do all the Katnipp commissions. Then on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday that I had off to do my own stuff, I would do client work, commission work, orders, packaging, shipping, marketing, personal work to help grow and market my business. And yeah, it was a lot. And guys, mentally I thought I was okay. I thought I'm doing fine. However, physically I got really scary symptoms. So I started having full-blown panic attacks. Like, my heart started racing. It was always really high. My heart rate was constantly high. I was eating poor junk food. I cut out exercise exercise and stuff like that. Even though I'm a squishy marshmallow, I actually quite like exercise, and I actually work out 5 times a week, believe it or not. But I cut that out so I could focus on work. That is a bad thing to do, and I cut out all like kind of personal care and focused purely just on working. And then my body started sending me physical signs of stress. So Dean used to come behind me and squeeze the back of my neck and shoulders, and I never realised, but they were so tense that the lightest touch would really send shooting pains down my neck, because up here it was so tense, like my neck was so tense, my shoulders were really tense, and I had a really high heart rate, and it was triggering panic attacks. So I would be laid in bed at night and I'd feel my heart rate, and then it would trigger a really bad panic attack, to the point where I was actually hyperventilating while Dean was asleep, but I didn't want to wake him up and scare him. So I was just trying to breathe it through it, trying to tell myself it's okay, it's fine, Catherine, just breathe, you're absolutely fine. But yeah, this went on for about 4 weeks, so through October and November. December hit, and that's when it really started to get to me. I kept ignoring it, kept pushing my work. December hit, and I then had Christmas to worry about, because I had not done any personal things. Like, I hadn't done presents. I was struggling to keep up socially, like to my friends and family, and I also hadn't even started Christmas shopping. And I'm quite an organised person. I like to know what I'm getting, I like to have done everything, and I think just my brain was non-stop, bam, thinking about things all the time, and then I just completely crashed and burned. I had zero motivation. I cried, which is so unlike me. I completely broke down and thought, I can't do this anymore. Dean told me to contact the doctors about my heart rate and my panic attacks. I never actually associated, very strangely, the panic attacks with stress and with burnout. I just thought it was, I don't even know, my diet or something, which probably was, because I was neglecting my diet. I wasn't eating healthy at all. And I went to the doctors, and they had to rig me up on an ECG, which is basically they put loads of sticky pad things on you and check your heart rate and monitor your heart, I think. Anyway, the nurse said that my heart rate was very high, so I would have to come back. I had some blood tests done and things like that. I came back, and the doctor took up my heart rate again, said again it was very high, and prescribed me beta blockers, which is not good, guys. To be prescribed them at 26 at the time I knew something had to change, and I had to really focus on myself. And it took me to physical exhaustion, where my mind was constantly running, but I kept trying to motivate myself and stay positive affirmations, but I was completely ignoring my body symptoms of stress. My really tight shoulders, my very fast heart rate, my panic attacks, completely ignored them. What a mistake, guys. My body was telling me to slow down. So this is where I did a lot of research. I did not want to take this medication. I didn't want to take it. I know the doctor advised it, but I just felt like I really needed to do it myself, mentally and physically. This is the second part of the video on how I actually overcame my burnout. So I quit my second client who I was doing freelance work with. I completely quit, and I said, I'm so sorry, I'm very busy, my business is taking off, I can't keep up with the workload. And they were very kind and said, if you ever change your mind, we'll be here. And I was like, thank you, but no thanks, because I can't cope anymore. And I knew that Katnipp was my ultimate priority, even though it wasn't making the money that I needed it to yet. It was my ultimate priority. Then I had Martin Windows and my work to sort out, and I spoke with Dean and I said, do you reckon I could approach Mark about this? and say, can I go freelance, so that I have more flexible time and I'm not doing the receptionist work, I'm just focusing on the social media marketing. And Dean said go for it. Now at this time, guys, Katnipp was not ready to go full time. I wasn't earning enough money to really like overtake my pay that I was getting from my client work. So I took the plunge, and I had 3 weeks off over Christmas on mat and windows anyway, and I thought, right, okay, I'm off in a week's time, I'll keep going into work and I'll keep doing it. I'll close my store early, Katnipp, so I had to close it early because I just couldn't keep up anymore. Mentally and physically, I looked at my work and I just felt like crying, because I can't explain the feeling. I just looked at my work and I felt so overwhelmed. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't package, and it felt also really sad for me because it's something that I absolutely love doing. I was very passionate about it, but yeah, I stared at all this stuff and I just thought, I can't do it. Like, I can't explain it. There was just a mental block that wouldn't let me do it. So I shut Katnipp early. I shut it on the, I think it was like the 10th of December, and I knew that my mat and windows was closing on the 19th, I think it was, or the 15th of December. So I knew I was going to have 3 weeks off work on the 15th of December. So I went into work part-time and had Katnipp closed and finished up all the loose ends with Katnipp, like commissions I had, got all the orders out, because obviously you still are responsible as a business owner, the orders need to go out. And that 3 weeks is when I kind of came out of my burnout, and it felt amazing, guys. It felt amazing. So this is a part of the video, guys, where I share how I overcame my burnout. It really helped that I was off work. So the first thing was take time off. Yeah, take time off. Put holidays in at work. It is not worth the physical exhaustion. It is not worth giving yourself panic attacks, and it could even lead to something more serious. Stress is a very serious thing to take care of. So I knew that I was having 3 weeks off during the Christmas period, so I took 3 weeks off. My second thing was I stepped away from social media. Now, I didn't step away entirely because I like to keep in the loop and I still wanted to grow Katnipp, but I didn't sit every night on it like I was, and I tried not to compare myself to others. So the worst thing to do when you're suffering from burnout or anything like that is to look on social media, because you just compare yourself to other artists or entrepreneurs or content creators, and you're like, oh my god, they're doing so well, they're so like on top of all the stuff. I'm not, I'm here, I'm one big mess, like what's going on with my life right now? And you fall into that comparison trap, especially when you're in kind of that negative mental space. So social media I completely limited during this 3 week period. I think there was even like 3 days where I didn't look at it at all. Number 3 was I did stuff that I loved. Now, I love illustration and stuff like that, but at that moment in time I was completely burnt out and couldn't think of anything worse than illustrating, so which is really sad for me, actually. So then I went to the next layer of things I loved, which was reading, playing games, hanging around with my friends and family, and just basically focusing on the other aspects of my life. I noticed in the second week off I started to get the itch to illustrate again. So I was like, oh, I really want to illustrate again, but I didn't want to do the comparison thing. I just wanted to illustrate for fun. So I got my sketchbook out, I did some doodles, I put on some nice music. I think I had some YouTubers on in the background, and I started just doodling some great stuff. Like I was just doodling, I was having fun with my illustrations again, which felt amazing. I wasn't illustrating for business, I was illustrating because I love to illustrate and I love to draw, and that's what I was doing. I was drawing cute characters that were making me giggle. I was inspired by the anime shows I was watching, the games I was playing, the books I was reading, and I was like, oh, I've actually picked up a sketchbook, like, and I'm actually illustrating, not to sell the products, not to make it into something that's sellable, not to try and grow my business. It was just a fun way of expressing myself. Another thing that I started doing was meditating. Now, I dabble in meditation. I'm not very I'm not very consistent with meditation, but it is something that I definitely find helps me, because it helps kind of listen to all those thoughts that are going on. And when I was in this burnout phase, I heard a lot of negative self-talk all the time, and stepping back from that and just observing your thoughts and stuff really helped. I downloaded an app called Headspace, you might have heard of it, or if you don't know where to go with meditation, try an app like Calm. So meditation was something that I started doing regularly on a morning as I woke up during my time off. Learn to say no to things. I am a people pleaser, so I find it very hard to say no to people, and if work came my way, I just kind of was like a yes person. Yes, I'll do this, yes, I'll do this. A lot of friends were asking me for Christmas presents. I was like, yes, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, and then it just ended up toppling over. So be kind to yourself as you would be kind to other people. So I learned to say no. You start to get more confident because you realise, oh, they still like me. I said no to them, but they still like me, so that's good, am I right? That's good, yeah, okay. And then, yeah, in the 3rd week, I started to come out my burnout, and I started then listening to motivational speakers. I was listening to podcasts. I always did anyway. I was listening to podcasts, I was watching YouTube videos, and this got me ready to go for the new year. And I was finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and I was ready for January, ready to take it on, full of confidence. I was so rested, I was so inspired by all the games, books, literature, and everything I'd absorbed. I was reading. I was ready to get back on social media, and I was more inspired by other artists rather than comparing myself to other artists. I found myself like, wow, that's amazing, I really want to illustrate something like that. And yeah, January was a godsend. I went in and I spoke to Mark, my boss, and I said, I am going freelance. I was so scared. I remember being so scared to approach him, but I did it, and I put it down, and hallelujah. 2018, last year rolls around, and I am full-time on Katnipp, and I have Mark as a freelance client. So yeah, that is how I learned to overcome burnout. And every time I feel like I'm getting burnt out, like this week, I felt myself getting into that mind space where my mind's constantly ticking over. I found myself slowly reverting back to looking at artists on Instagram and thinking, oh, my work is not that good, why do people like me? The more followers I got, the more pressure I felt to keep up good work, and I got stuck in that comparison trap. And I noticed this on Wednesday when I was really struggling with some issues I had in my business with my sticker paper, and I found myself getting burnt out. And guess what I did? I took half a day off, and then the next day I was really easy on myself. I said, don't worry, you don't need to illustrate for business, just enjoy it. This weekend has been fantastic. I didn't come into work yesterday, it's now Sunday, and I'm talking to you guys, but I'm not doing anything really businessy related. I'm just having a chat with you guys. And I yesterday played on Kingdom Hearts. I cleared my home. My home is nice and clean and shiny, decluttered, and I'm feeling great. So I did that. I did those steps again. I kind of stepped back, had fun, played games, and relax. Yeah, that's basically my experience. Oh, you're wobbling with burnout, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because it's so easy to see people's success and the positive sides on social media, YouTube and stuff. And I know this year, since I went full-time in January, I have had a big growth because I've been very motivated and kind of putting a lot of content out there and trying to grow my business. And it's easy to look at me or look at anyone else and look at their growth and feel a bit down about the fact that you're feeling like this mentally. You feel sometimes ungrateful as well. I know that I battled with that a lot. I felt kind of guilty that I felt bad and negative towards my business because I am very fortunate and very lucky to be in this position. So that can be hard too. But guys, just stop being so hard on yourself, okay? Now I'm going to be sharing everyone else's tips and their experience with burnout. I need to drink first because I feel like I've been talking forever. So first I'm going to head over to YouTube. Nina K said, hey, I always recharge with a nice soak in the bath, quality me time and quality friend and family time. Yes, that's so important. Like I said, I did exactly the same thing. Read a good book and take your mind off things for a few hours. I'm sure soon enough your creative juices will flow once again. yes, that's very, very true. Once you take a step back and just enjoy life in general, not regarding your business or work or anything creative, you do find that you start getting inspired again and ready to get back into work. Taking a break is very important. Jinwen, I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. She said, for me, I don't touch whatever it is that's causing the burnout. Bad time when it's time crunch, and fully focus myself on other things. Yes. So it's a very common pattern here, guys. Can you see the common thing? Step away from the work that is causing you to burn out. Mish, the editor, wrote a list. She wrote, 1, to do things I really love. 2, spend time with loved ones. 3, remove myself and go to my favourite place. For me, it's the beach. 4, if that doesn't work, take a moment to be okay with that and repeat 1 to 3. 10 years of entrepreneurship has taught me self-care is the most important thing. I hope this helps. Thank you very much, Miss the editor. It really does help. God, there's so much good advice here. If you want to head over to the community section on my YouTube channel and also on my Instagram post where I mention burnout, read all these amazing tips that people have shared. They've shared their story. It is fantastic. There are some great tips that even I haven't thought of here. Now I'm just going to read a few on my Instagram feed. Random Scribbles Studio said, I just stopped drawing for a couple of days. I put my iPad away and didn't even look at it or acknowledge its existence for about a week. I went about my daily life minus drawing, and when I came back it seemed to have my mojo back. Sometimes you just need a break to help your brain recharge. I hope this helps. So yeah, there's so much more advice on there, guys, from other creators, entrepreneurs and artists on the community page on my YouTube channel and on Instagram. So please go check that out if you're struggling now, or you feel like you're struggling, you want some tips off other people, not just me. Go read those comments. They are fantastic. And thank you all for putting those comments in, because that really helps. And I love this community. I freaking love you guys so much, and I love this community that we're actually building. Like, there's people who constantly comment with each other on my YouTube videos, and it's beautiful to see people chatting and sharing advice. There's 9 billion million trillion people in the world, however there is plenty of love to go around and plenty of creativity, so let's help one another out rather than kicking each other down. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have literally been recording for so long. I've been sat in here for an hour and a half, so this is going to be very hard to edit. This is kind of like a podcasty style episode, so I hope you didn't mind it. I hope you just had me on in the background, like, God, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Also, leave a comment below on how you overcome burnout in your burnout stories, because people can also read the comments below. If they can't be bothered to go onto the community page or to my Instagram, leave your tips in the comments below so people can just scroll through them and see your advice too. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I freaking love you so much. Alright then, I love you. Goodbye.